NJCAA Hot Hoops, Kenya Landers and Dan Olson. We're here for all things JUCO women's basketball. In the meat of the basketball schedule for conference play, Kenya, it's going to start to really
Boy,
heat up. Unlike a lot of the United States where it's frigid, we're going to see some hot basketball action. And
it's getting hot in here.
it all culminates in either Joplin, Missouri for the D2
Ooh,
national tournament or
yeah,
in Casper, Wyoming for the Division One, mid-March all the way up through April 1.
yeah,
And of course, the Division One ESPN does the streaming service for that for all the games. And before you know it, it's going to be here. You know, it's that quick.
crazy,
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, you want to talk about who won this week and who lost?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dan, we got some good teams, man.
Yeah, we got
Like
still
this is
undefeated team.
crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. And they are literally just running the table, but there's close games. It's
Yeah.
not like they're blowing
That's
people
it.
out, but they're just doing whatever they got to do to win. And it has
Yeah.
been so cool. So Northwest Florida State went 4-0
Mhm.
with a tough week.
Mhm.
Hutch 3-0,
Mhm.
still holding on, still doing what they got to do to win. Dodge City 3-0. Shelton State and Southern Idaho both dropped one, but again, playing very, very tough competition.
Mhm.
Florida Southwestern, Casper, Walter State, 3-0, 2-0. And then you got Grayson and Murray State that we haven't even talked about very much.
Mhm.
They both went 3-0 and 2-0 this week. So it's just, or this past week. And it's so fun to watch again. I know I keep saying that, but someone that has a true appreciation and knows how hard it is to get out here and play these teams and play JUCO women's basketball, like it's it's awesome. I
Yep.
mean, it's awesome.
Hats off to them. They're
Yeah,
doing really well.
they
And they're just
do,
running the table. It's pretty impressive.
especially against the competition that they're playing.
Yeah.
And we had some teams to take a loss, but again, like most of these, okay, you took an L, it's going to happen, right? But New Mexico and Wabash Valley, they both dropped one this week. Western Nebraska, they dropped two. Butler County dropped two, and Seward dropped two.
Mhm.
But they're in conference play where they're all rolling around and about to, playing each other. And then Southwest Mississippi had a rough one. They went 0-3. But the beauty is they can come right back and go 3-0, next week or this week. So it's just the parity and the competition and the amount of talent that is out on these courts. It's so awesome.
Yeah. Brent Harris at Southwest Mississippi, never known to be a guy that would duck anybody. He'll play
Yeah,
competition. He's
100%.
coaches them up. The guy knows what he's doing, and as well as a lot of these other people. There, but those are character building teams, or building losses that
Yeah,
they're going to come back and say, "Wow, remember when we went that stretch and we got beat by them?" That's going to be a character builder for them.
no question.
What do we have for the poll this week? A lot of the same, don't we?
We do. We do. And Hutch is holding on at number one. And I told you my girl is not going to let them lose.
Apparently not.
She's just not. So they're 16-0. Northwest Florida State, number two, 17-0. And I don't think we've had much movement in this poll. And you go and you look, and Mitch is going to be in our hot seat today, but
Yeah,
they're 19-0 and number eight.
yeah, they've moved up Chipola.
Yeah,
New
and I
Mexico and
mean,
Dodge, I think they flipped spots,
yeah, yeah,
and Three
but it's
Rivers
it's
dropped,
just
I think,
crazy.
a spot, yeah, or so.
Hmm.
And there's McLennan holding in at 10, still undefeated.
Yep,
They're gonna be a contender as it goes down the road.
no doubt.
And Well, it's going to be interesting. And we haven't talked about our host for the national tournament, Casper. They had a good week this past week. So he always gets them where they're like all discombobulated to begin with.
Yeah.
And then they really look like they're well coached by the time you
Yep.
see him at the end. And that's a tribute to him. He's done a great job, Dwight Gennari at Casper. How about the
Yeah.
D2 poll? I don't think it's moved.
Kirkwood. Huh?
I don't think it's moved. Nobody's changed
No.
spots, and everybody's undefeated. Wow.
Yeah.
So Kirkwood's still 17-0.
Yeah. Still 17-0.
Johnson County, Essex, Maryland, Union, New Jersey, and Lincoln Land, Illinois. All undefeated. Something's got to give.
Something's got to give somewhere. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the national stat leaders in a couple of categories. Once again, Lania Richardson, the little 5'5" bundle of energy at Lincoln Trail, 23.9 a game. Tough to keep her keep in front of her. She's just that quick, speedy. Vivian Anugwa at Barton County, a beast off the glass, really quick in the paint, leads the nation in rebounding, 15.9 in the tough Jayhawk conference. Then you got Michaela Hobdy, who leads the country in assists. She's at Shelton State. Steady Eddie. They've played tremendous competition. She's gotten a read on how to react to different types of defensive sets, and she's executed fairly well. I mean, 7.2 a game is a pretty good clip, Yep. So I thought I'd put this in for us today in the show. A little stock riser alert. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Grace Ezeblo, I guess you could say. I'm not very good at that. At Tyler, Trina has a front court beast who's doing a double work for her and helping her get some wins. And a sophomore, 6'1" forward, 11.2 points a game and 13.2 boards. She's one of the nation's better rebounders.
No question.
So she's cleaning it up, physical, but real athletic, can run, and has gotten better from when I watched her in October to now. She's putting up legitimate numbers, Here's a player that we haven't spoken a lot about, but is a stock riser for sure. Arissa Garcia at Murray State in Oklahoma. They're quietly doing really good things, I think, at Murray State. And I got to do a little homework on them, I think. But third in the nation in assists. She's a 5'7" point guard. But look, she's putting up almost 12 points a game, but handing out 6.3 assists.
Right.
This is a Texas player. I believe she's from Frisco, and has really kind of bought into that JUCO thing at Murray State, and kind of a maybe under the radar prospect for a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, so, she's controlling the game. I mean, when you have someone that is averaging 12 points a game, and then they're also with 6.3 assists, that means all the plays are going through her, and so she's controlling the game, and she is dictating what's happening for for her team. And that's what you want your point guards to do.
Yeah, I agree. Tough to find good point guards. They're so valuable. Hey, look, when we come back, we're going to talk rewind from the rewind from the past week. Right after we get back from this little short message on NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back with NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers, Dan Olson. we're going to talk rewind, Kenya, from the past week's games. And there were some good games. You know, always find good games. But let's start off with number one, Hutch, getting tested again.
Oh,
Just snicking by Butler County, 57-53. We talked about this last week. Haley Jackson, as you alluded to before in the last segment, the model of consistency among JUCO players, it seems. 17 and 6 rebounds, 2 trays in the win. Wasn't going to be denied. But Butler's got some players now. They've got a girl named Keegan Yarrick who dropped 20 in that game. But they gotta get more. He's got like 5 solid good players that he starts, but they all have to show up. You know, you can't have 1 or 2 show up. You gotta have them all show up. So, but knowing Mike Helmer, he'll probably get them to show up before the end of the year. You know, when it really counts. You know, let's go down to the Southwest. Eastern Arizona sneaks by the newcomer, Southern Nevada. Eastern Arizona's 14-3 now. And their low post player, one of the best in the country, Ashlyn Charlson, 12 and 7 rebounds, along with their spider-like guard, their combo guard, Sarah Dang, who's going to Florida. She had 14 and 6 assists in that game.
Yeah.
And, you know, hard-fought game, good league, just much like the Panhandle, much like the West Texas. You got to come to play in Arizona. It's picked up its pace across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So we'll move over to Garden City. They played Butler too, and they put it on Butler. Greg Franklin worked his magic, 77-51. Franklin's got a little guard from Hawaii that's probably among the nation's best shooters. Jolie Mance. She's about 5'6". She plays the 1 and the 2, but she hit 7 threes in that game. She had 21 points. Also, all of them were threes. And then he has another player named Anna Pires, who finally put together a nice game, had 14 points and 3 blocks. She's been very inconsistent. He needs to get her to become more of a consistent performer for Garden City, for the Broncbusters to kind of move forward, you know. Ashley Singate, a freshman Kansas girl for Butler, 21 and 5 rebounds. This kid can play. Plays the 1 and the 2.
She's tough.
Yeah, she got a nice game to her.
Yeah.
So let's go back to Arizona, okay? And
Central Cochise got him.
Cochise.
Yeah.
And Cochise 12 and 6 now. And the backcourt that we have alluded to in the past about Central Arizona, Madison Holden, Audrey Quintana, they kind of carry the load. They had 36 of their 52 points. And it just wasn't enough for them, you know. Kaylin Asbury's a little jet quick point guard that we haven't talked a lot about. Yeah. A Division I transfer and one of the speedier players in all of JUCO. She had 25 in that game. But, you know, every year it seems like Cochise has good front court players. Last year they had one that wound up going to Troy among one of the 10 players in the country. Jessie Joquim, Michelle Nkomo had 21 and 20 boards combined as a front court group. Those are 2 6'1", 6'2", bouncy athletic forwards that can run, press, you know, get on the glass, hit short corner jump shots, you know, stick the shot in the lane, that type of thing, you know. So they're important for Coach East, obviously, to move on. What would our show be without not talking about Trinity Valley? I mean, we got to talk about Trinity Valley. You know,
crazy.
That's Trinity's so 13-2, by the way. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, we were worried about them at the beginning of the year, but they're 13-2.
And I'm telling you, I feel like, you know, naturally, I feel like I'm a critic often because the expectation, right? Like, you know, I think what they're doing and pressure. I mean, I just think she's doing a great job. It's just
Running under
so
the
tough.
shadows.
Yes. Like that's very difficult. And then, you lose two games and everybody's like, you lost a game, but it's just tough. But, you know, I remember us talking about them and we're going, she's got to get it together. And I'm like, she's 13-2. What are we talking about? And then for
She,
her to go over to Chipola or to Panola and get that win,
yep.
Panola's playing very well right now.
Yeah, Panola was one of the surprise teams for me back in
Yes.
October of like, okay, they got it going on over there at Panola. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Trinity Valley beat them by 14. Now Panola got 36 points out of their backcourt, but Monica Marsh, a GW, George Washington transfer to Trinity Valley,
Mm-hmm.
a Texas player, had 23 and 4 assists. But then she had little help from Nylia Wilkins, who's another really athletic guard that can really play like in a one-on-one game, stick to three, great in transition. She added 18. So keep it rolling, Trinity. Keep it
Yeah.
rolling.
She's gonna get them right back where they want to be.
Southern Idaho, Salt Lake, they're always two national tourney level teams.
Mm-hmm.
They played this past week. It was a good games. Now, Southern Idaho didn't do well prior to Christmas. I saw them in Arizona, and they were a little up and down. And they snuck out with a 61-58 win. Southern Idaho 15-3. Salt Lake is 14-4. Salt Lake just out rebounded CSI, and they each had 7 3-pointers, but the game came down to basically free throws for Southern Idaho. That was what got them over the top, I think. So, you know, they needed that because, like I said, they were really kind of struggling there for a point
Mm-hmm.
right before Christmas. So Randy Rogers got them back going in the right direction.
Yeah.
You we alluded to our guest on the hot seat today, Mitch Rolls,
Yeah.
and Chipola beat Pensacola for his first Panhandle game. They're now at Chipola. He beat him
Yeah.
65-56. It was a challenging game at Pensacola. Um, Kanijah Daniel, 25 and 8 rebounds. This is a Georgia Southern transfer
Yeah.
that's got backcourt size, got range, tough to guard off the dribble. She's one of the nicer players that's kind of developed here in junior college moving forward. So the Pirates at Pensacola, Talia Kemp had 17, and Jada McDonald, who I think is a undersized forward that just
Yeah.
loves to work off the glass, had 15 and 9 rebounds. She gets it done. That girl,
She does
I really
everything.
enjoy watching her play.
Total package. Just she does everything. She's one of those players that you're gonna find their name. You get out every stat line, every part of the
Affiliate
game, and
stat sheet.
she's gonna have an effect on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. When we come back, let's talk upload. Let's talk about our future games of the week coming up when we come back on NJCAA Hot Hoops. We're back, NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya, let's talk upload. All right.
Yes.
New Mexico's at Odessa this week. That's a whack-jack game. Tough to go to Odessa. New Mexico got to bounce back. They tasted defeat for the first time. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be a good thing for them. And then we've alluded now to Chipola here a couple of times, but they got a big game tonight against Gulf Coast at home at Chipola. So that place will be rocking. And
Yeah.
anxious to see how that plays out tonight. It'll give me something to watch tonight. As we go to our friends down there in Arizona, we've got Eastern Arizona playing Arizona Western in Yuma.
Western.
And Western's got that kind of a dynamic backcourt that carries them a lot. And Eastern's got a lot of size. They've got some stability, well coached both teams. That'll be a fun game, I would think, to watch, and be interesting to see the outcome there.
Yeah.
Earlier here we talked about Arissa Garcia at Murray State in Oklahoma. They're at home tonight against Northern Oklahoma Tonkawa. A league game for them, and we'll see how they move forward going into their season now, and how Arissa does tonight as well. And here's a really good game that's going to be played. This is a national tournament game. We got Hutch at Dodge City. That's going to be, you got 2 top 5 teams playing.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a really good game. And Dodge City's a little bandbox now. They got a band in there that'll like blow the roof off,
Yeah.
And, it's tough playing there, So that'll be a great game to watch if you're a fan. And then last but not least, we got Northwest Florida State going over to Pensacola. Pensacola's 0-1. Northwest, number 2, undefeated nationally. They're keeping the gas down on the pedal, Here's my question to you. Can anyone
What you got?
be able again like last year? Do you think that they can? Is there going to be someone that can do another 36-0 season? What do you think?
I think if anybody has a chance to do it, I think Hutch does.
Okay.
I think Hutch does for a few reasons. I think it's very, very difficult to go undefeated in the Panhandle Conference down in Florida.
Great.
I think I just think that's it's going to be tough. It's too many, in my opinion, I'll say this it's too many BCS, it's too many Power 4 players that are in that close proximity of where they're playing. There's going to be, at some point, every player on those teams are going to be, we're not losing tonight. I just think they're so tough. They're so well coached. The parity of them all is very, very good. And I just think that there's so many heavy hitters. Somebody's going to get caught slipping at one point. I just think that's just going to happen. And I think that Hutch has the possibility or the capabilities to do that. Now their league is tough. Don't get me wrong. They play in a great league, but it's different basketball than what they're doing in Florida. It's just different. It's not better or worse. It's just different. And I think because they have some of their X factor players, they have the experience of knowing like what it feels like to have that pressure of being undefeated and going all the way through. I feel like they play and they're not ever worried about it. They're, we're going to win. We got this. Yeah. And I think that experience is just going to be able to carry them.
Well, this is going to be interesting as it all unfolds.
But then, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of our top 10 teams are undefeated. Yeah. So, like McLennan's still undefeated. This can go. I have no idea really. So to answer your question, I don't know. but seriously, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be fun to watch.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
Great for the fans.
Great for the fans.
Listen, when we come back, let's talk to Mitch Rolls. He's the head coach this year now. First year at Chipola College, Marianna, Florida. Traditional
JUCO guy.
And look, Mitch is a JUCO guy. So when we come back, Mitch Rolls on our hot seat when we come right back here at NJCAA Hot Hoops.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back. NJCAA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers and Dan Olson, our special guest. Mitch Rolls, head coach at Chipola College. Mitch, everything's good at Chipola these days. You're undefeated. You know, can't get better than that. 19-0, man. First year, tradition like crazy at Chipola. Congratulations thus far.
No, I appreciate it, man. I really do. We've had a good run so far. We're trying to keep it going as long as we can. And like you said, long tradition of winning here. So we're just trying to keep up, with past coaches and past programs and trying to do a good job.
Well, it's going to get thick and crazy now, like in this panhandle that you're in. Among the one or two top leagues in the country for JUCO women's basketball and probably for men's basketball too. A lot of great basketball to watch here twice a week. But yeah, you certainly have your hands full every game. You've got to really be on top of it. So, here we go. Strap it on, ready to go.
Well,
Yeah, right.
And it's not just the talent either. Really good talent, really good coaches, and you got to play everybody 3 times. So
absolutely. Yeah, and then you got to get to the tournament, state tournament.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough.
I've always told Dan, I don't think I was tough enough to coach in that league. Like, you guys go at it. And everybody always says it's hard to be a team 3 times. No, it's hard to be a team 4 times, which is what you guys have to do, to try to run through people and run the table. But it's a crazy league. But for people that don't have a dog in the fight, it's so fun to watch. Right, Dan?
It really is. Yeah. I can really be envious of the parents or just the general fan, put it that way, in that whole area of the state.
Yeah.
It's like major college basketball. You go there and hang out, you got some good crowds and they really back you. And I know they do that in Mariana. They take it serious in Mariana. And,
well, I compare it to SEC football. Fans travel, they're going to away games and, they're very excited and they meet your kids and, they're very involved with the coaching staff. So, it's a different environment, but like you said, it's fun, it's enjoyable, and you get to watch some of the best talent in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take us back here for a minute. Okay. You were at Iowa Western last year. You made the national tournament in Division II. You did well. And then you got this chance at Chipola. That had to have been kind of a whirlwind experience for you to get relocated, build a team, and you've done pretty good at it thus far. You've got some nice talented players. Kind of elaborate on how you did that.
Well, as well as I do, junior college is all about the players. We could have the best X's and O's and, all that stuff.
The Jimmys and the Joes.
Yeah, it's all about that. If you don't have players, it's going to be a long day anytime. So, through the transition, and you got to also think leaving Labette, was at Labette for 8 years, got the job at Iowa Western. So we went from a full roster to no roster, got to fill a whole team. So, that's always fun. But that's why you prioritize recruiting. You can't really take any time off from that, right. No matter what time of year it is. So that's really been our saving grace. Get the good kids in here, coach them up as much as you can, but they've got to have that baseline, just talent, athletic ability that we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your players and recruiting, you got a pretty legit transfer at your point guard. Talk to us about her a little bit. And just, you're so balanced. You have so many different players that are doing so many different things and that are just locked in and playing their role. So talk to us about your team. But, I was a PG, so I'm privy to those PGs. I love to hear their stories. And so just kind of talk to us about your crew.
Yeah, no, Kanaja Daniel's been unreal this year. Shot the ball unbelievably well. But then you just kind of look at all the other things she does. She gets a lot of steals. I think she leads the team in blocks right now, or is right there, over 1 block per game. So, I mean, just her defensive presence, the way she rebounds, just touches every facet of the game. That really just helps her teammates. Some of these freshmen look at her and, if they can see the way she buys into other parts of the game outside of her scoring, I think that's a good testament for those freshmen to grow under. So that's the thing I'm most proud of. She's had her 30-point games, but you also go look at the time she scored 12 to 16 points, still got her 6 to 8 rebounds, still had 3 or 4 assists. Those are the things that make me the most proud about her. But that's why we're winning. When your leading scorer is adding those statistical categories for your team, it's almost like a trickle down effect for everybody. And like you said, our depth is amazing. We've been very balanced. I think we've had 5 or 6 kids this year, score from that 15 to 20 points in a game at some point. So we've leaned on everybody. Everybody stepped up at some point. We're hoping that depth will carry us.
Kenya,
Awesome.
Khadijah Daniel, am I saying that right?
Kanaja.
Yeah, transfer from Georgia Southern. Is the reigning state player of the week, correct, Mitch?
Yeah, back to back.
Yep, back to back. Okay.
Yeah.
So she's put up numbers. I don't know if she's even your best player if you really come down to it, because we're not even talking about McKenna Minter, who is your point guard that we were alluding to. And McKenna's been off the beaten path here for the season thus far. Didn't she have like a early season concussion and then some knee issues, correct?
Yeah, she came in with some knee issues from last year that was kind of lingering, injury she had aggravated before. So she's just going slow right now. We're winning. Her body's not completely where it needs to be, just conditioning wise and, knee strength and quad strength. So just kind of going through the processes with her and making sure she's ready, and she's open-minded and, she cares about the team winning. She's one of the first people to be on the bench, excited for everybody. She's played small minutes here and there just to kind of get her body back going. But I mean, she's a teammate first, and she cares about winning. She cares about her coaches and her teammates. So, as long as we have her in the building, we're going to be a better team. And then when she's ready to play, we'll be pretty scary.
Yeah, that gives you an added element for sure.
That's a major, major X factor. Like, to have someone that understands the game and that knows what's going on, but having to sit back and watch so she can like give the players it's like repeating what you say, but in a way that they can receive it and understand it, and giving the girls the right message. I love that. I mean, obviously she wants to be out there playing, but one of the things that I challenge the kids all the time that had injuries or that weren't getting to play as much, how are you still going to make a major contribution to your team? And she is doing that. That's so cool. But that speaks from the leadership of you guys too.
Well, and she comes from a great background. Dad's a coach, ex-NFL player. Mom is, a great person, very, very, tied into her life. So, I mean, I think that goes all the way back to her childhood and just her having that good character. But I think more of the psychological side for her. You go from National Player of the Year to being in a tough situation at, 19, 20 years old. It's not easy mentally, and she's fighting through it. But when she gets on the backside of this thing, she's going to be in a much better place.
It's going to be a good story to tell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other part, Kenya, that he has on his team that is a real luxury. He's got size, athleticism, front court size, Mitch. That's going to be a really, I think, helpful tool for you down the road here as we move forward. Agree?
Oh, well, I mean, that's the baseline in the Panhandle. If you don't have size, I mean, good luck on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But they can move. They can run the floor. I mean, they're fairly productive inside. You got a well-balanced team, and it's fun to watch your team for sure.
And our bigs especially have really bought into the rebounding side of things. We're leading the country in rebounds, and I think it's a testament to them and Coach Gabby Cortez for, making sure that's a high priority for them, and they're not worried about their touches. They're going to get their touches. They're going to get their offensive rebounds and putbacks. But we don't have the bigs that are crying because they've got their hand and they're sealed and we miss them a couple times. They're going to go get the rebound and get it themselves. So they've done a great job.
Can I come? Do you need a volunteer, Coach? I'll come sit there and just watch the magic happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We need as many as we can
I don't do
get.
it anymore. I just want to be around good stuff like you.
Well, we'll get you a dorm room and get you put up and you'll be good to go.
Hey, there's nothing like Marianna, Florida.
I
Okay.
That's right.
know. We came there and played all the time. And, we knew every time we came down there, it was going to be great competition. It was going to be, like you said, jam-packed arena. It was the closest thing that we could implicate or we could create that was going to be like the national tournament.
Right.
It was
Right.
the
Really
closest
good
thing we could
competition.
do as far as competition and environment. And so you're doing an amazing job. Who do you guys have coming up next?
Oh, well, we've got our hands full tonight. We play Gulf Coast,
I knew
the
that. That's
biggest
what
team
I
in the country. Yeah, they're
They've only
coming here.
got one loss.
Like you
Yeah.
said, it is in Marianna, so we're hoping that home crowd can give us that extra advantage because they are big, they are talented, and very well coached.
Yeah. Sounds like you're playing yourself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be a battle. It'll be a battle.
Yeah.
So whoever comes out tonight will be very happy.
So what do you think when you guys are playing those teams in the Panhandle? I'm always curious to kind of get your perspective. Like you said, you guys are equally talented. You both have size. You have great players. What does it typically come down to? Is it taking care of the ball? Is it free throw? Like, what do you typically feel like will be if we do this or we do this without giving away your scouting report? But what do you think is the X factor? Is it just toughness? Like, I'm so curious of what you think about that.
I mean, I think whoever's going to be able to play 40 minutes, because there's going to be runs for both teams. There's
Yeah.
too many good players on the floor for, slow moments. Everybody can score. Everybody's really athletic. So who's going to be sustain the consistency with the discipline, like you said, not turning the ball over? Who's competing at a high level, which typically I don't think that's going to be a problem. Everybody's going to be excited for Panhandle
Yeah.
games, but just having that sustainability throughout 40 minutes, because if you play 38 good minutes, and you keep it close, anybody in this conference can beat you. So, and I'm only
Yeah.
2 games in, so I don't have a great history of knowing the Panhandle other than from an outside perspective and knowing how good the competition was here. But from at least from my first game against Pensacola, shoot, if we took out 5 minutes, they made a 10-0 run, so they you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to play your best basketball at all times.
Here's a question for both of you because you both of you sat in this seat. If you're playing people more than once, twice in your conference, do you show all your cards first game and just challenge people to beat you, or do you hold some stuff back?
I would say me personally, we're pretty simple of what we do. You're going to know what we do by scouting us. Now, as far as plays and things like that, we're going to have to add on because that's just too much scout time. These coaches are too good. These kids are too smart. So if we're not able to switch it up, change our inbounds plays a little bit, change some of our sets and things we're doing, you're going to get beat every night. So there's a little bit of that. But we all have like a very distinct style of play just from watching film. We play really fast. Pensacola plays really fast. Tallahassee plays really fast. Gulf Coast and Northwest do get out in transition, but we know they're very methodical, very big, like to get the ball inside. So everybody's very deliberate with what they do and what they're trying to do, schematically.
What about you, Kenya?
Yeah. Well, I did not have the same situation that that Mitch has. So we had some teams in our conference that, we were spotted 20 by the time we got out there just because of our name and just because of their lack of talent, just being honest. So we had the luxury of holding a package. Like we had the luxury of holding some some flips in some of our offensive plays that we worked on for months in practice, but didn't release in games until it was the qualifier, trying to get to the national tournament. But there was also games that we just had to win. Like when we were going up against, Kilgore and Tyler, I mean, we had to do what we had to do to get the win. And so, it's kind of a mixture of both, but, us practicing against the guys like we did every day, we were able to kind of bring some stuff along and practice that we could save for those tough games. But I mean, if I'm Mitch and I'm having to play who I'm having to play and I'm having a survival mode and it's hey, I got to do what I got to do to win.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good stuff.
yeah.
That's good stuff. Well, listen, we wish you the best moving forward here, Mitch, and I'm anxious to see you if I can get down there sometime soon. And but I certainly will make the national or the state tournament as well as the national tournament. And
Yeah.
Ken, you got anything else?
No, coach, just good luck to you guys. We know and respect the job you do and how busy you are and all the things you guys have going on. But we just want to wish you luck and we'll be tuned in tonight watching the show. So just good luck to you and your crew.
Well, and I'd love to, let you guys know. I mean, I appreciate what you do for young women, young JUCO athletes. There's not a lot of platforms like this. So when you guys started this, I became a big fan instantly. So appreciate what you
Awesome.
do and keep going.
Love it.
Awesome.
Good luck tonight, Mitch. And Chipola College's Mitch Rolls, first year, 19-0, trying to make it 20 tonight against Gulf Coast. Thanks for being on NJCAA Hot Hoops, Mitch.
Thank you. You guys have a great day.
So.
As the second largest intercollegiate athletic association in the country, the NJCAA serves not only a pivotal role in college athletics, but in higher education. The NJCAA Foundation aims to move the association forward through resources, grant programs, and other special initiatives. Your gift to the NJCAA Foundation will make a difference and create opportunities.
We're back with our final segment on NJCAA Hot Hoops, our mailbag. Kenya, I want to take you back a week ago. We had Michael Landers on, the athletic director of Navarro College. He was he was great. He threw some really good questions and things of that nature at us about the NIL and made us really think. And then he made me think because he asked me a question and he kind of stumped me because I was aghast for the name that I couldn't think of perhaps the best JUCO player that I had ever seen in women's basketball. And initially I told him Daniel Adams. And then I thought for a second, I'm like, hold on a minute. I've got the name. Yolanda Griffith. Yolanda, 6'4", played at Palm Beach State Community College, and then went on to Florida Atlantic, their first year as a Division I member. And she was a dynamic player, out of Chicago, inside, outside. And for any of you that are listening that doesn't know who Yolanda Griffith is, look up the stats, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the WNBA League MVP in '99, a 7-time All-Star, a Naismith Hall of Fame inductee, and a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. I mean, what more can I say? I mean, that kind of cements the fact that she's one of the greatest JUCO players that's ever played in the women's game for us here.
No question.
And, nice to have met. I know her personally, and had tremendous respect for her. But I remember her as that player, watching her play at Palm Beach, and because I lived in that part of the country at that point, and she wasn't the main show either all the time. I mean, she had some pretty impressive teammates, and many of them from the Chicago area. And wow, they were dynamic. One of the top 5 teams in JUCO as they were moving on through the mid '90s as well. So
she's unreal.
She really
unbelievable player.
Yeah,
I remember watching her and unbelievable.
Yeah. Here's a mailbag question for you.
Okay.
Okay, because this is what I got. How would you set up if you were the czar of the NIL world in basketball, sports in general, basketball in particular? How would you run the NIL?
Well, everybody that's not making the decisions, we have all the answers, right?
Right.
So, and I'm sure this can be picked apart. But this is just what my thoughts are. I And let me preface this by saying I think the NIL is great. I think it's great that the athletes are being compensated for the work that they're doing. It's no question that these schools are making a lot of money off of the players. And so I think it's great. I think it's fair. I would just like to see more structure in there being more commitment responsibilities from the players. From what I've seen, there's a ton of I get money and then I'm leaving, or I get my money and then somebody else is offering me more money, so I'm gonna go get that money. What I would prefer to see was, this is your NIL money. This is the deal that we have for you. And we're going to properly compensate you monthly so that you are good. You don't have it, let's say $2,000 a month, or even $5,000 a month. And then after you complete your 2 years here, the beginning of your junior year, you get your big bag of money. So I think if somebody has a $50,000 deal, they get small disbursements, but after they've committed and they have played and gone through tough things and have given back, paid their dues, and have been committed to that school, then absolutely let's give them what they deserve. But I think we have players that are being rewarded for things that they haven't done yet. Yeah, and I think that's why we're getting into the situation of, well, what can you do for me? Well, what have you done for the school? Mm-hmm. What have you done? Have you done your part? Have you not? So I think there just needs to be some commitment, some work, money put in the bank from the players, put some things out, and then they're rewarded from that.
Yeah, well said. I like that concept.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it much the same way. Treat them as an employee.
Yeah.
You've got structure in your contract. You meet these goals of your contract, you get your money.
Yeah.
You don't meet the goals, you don't get the money.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about there's been a lot of talk about colleges moving towards employing the athletes and the athletes wanting to be employees. But I think we have to remember, as an athlete, you don't go to practice, that's a sick day. You run out of sick days, your pay
exactly right.
You don't go to class, you're paid to go to class, and stuff. So I just think I wish there was a way that we could continue to compensate the players for what they do and what they deserve. I'm 100% for that, but I would just like for them to consistently do something first.
Well said. I think we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything else on the mailbag?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right. Well,
great show. Mitch was awesome.
Let's move it forward. We got another week ahead of good JUCO basketball, and we got some interesting games that are going to be played this coming week.
Yes.
And, we're going to see if everybody remains undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the question of the day or the week. And you want to sign us off? Let's do it.
Yeah. Such a great show. Again, thank you to Mitch for coming on and joining us. We're like Dan said, looking forward to another great week of JUCO women's basketball. If you could, and you're watching this, please share it. Share it to your feed, share it to your stories. We are just trying to do a really good job of creating a platform for JUCO women's basketball. And we want to get it out there for as many people that we can. So share, send it to the other teams in your conference. However you guys can do it, or friends that are enjoying it. We're trying to spread the word here for JUCO Hot Hoops. And we will see you guys next week.